We're back with another big bit of breaking news surrounding the Mason Greenwood saga. But before we jump into that, please do smash a like on the video and please do subscribe to the channel. So this is a situation that seems to be evolving by the day. Obviously, we had the story coming out a couple of days ago from The Athletic reporting that Manchester United were set to bring Mason Greenwood back to the club. Now, this was quite quickly dismissed by the club itself, saying that they hadn't made a decision, etc., etc. As you can imagine, after this, there's been an extreme backlash. We spoke about this on the show yesterday. There's been staff members saying they're going to strike. There's people saying they were going to resign. There's talks of protests. There's all sorts of things going on, both on the fan level and within Manchester United itself. Now, we've had a story coming out in the last half an hour or so from Neil Custis, who is a journalist in the UK, saying that Manchester United are now going to make a U-turn on their decision and will dump Mason Greenwood out of the squad. It goes on to say the dramatic U-turn comes after uproar online saw the Premier League club face backlash from fans. So obviously this situation has divided the fan base. No one can argue with that. Some people want him back, some people don't. The people who don't want him back have obviously had their voices. They've put their opinions out on Twitter and all the rest of it. There was people protesting at the Wolves game. As we said earlier on in the video, there's staff members who work at Carrington saying they're going to resign. They're going to go on strike if he comes back. There is a lot of upset around this situation, which is obviously to be expected because it is a very divisive and a very opinionated topic. Now, it goes on to say that Richard Arnold filmed an explanation video on Mason Greenwood that was due to be aired next week, but that has now been shelved, which means stopped, as the club rapidly rewrite their statement. So let's be very, very clear here. The plan from the club all along was to bring him back. That's pretty much set in stone. That's what was reported by The Athletic. That's what we've heard from multiple different journalists over the last week, that Manchester United had told the executives at the club that he will be coming back. Now, this was leaked by The Athletic, as you know, a couple of days ago, before Manchester United got to make their official announcement, right? The Athletic put the story out that they'd got from somebody within the club who they didn't name. It was an anonymous source that tipped them off on the announcement coming of Mason Greenwood. Obviously, whenever stuff like that happens, you know, another publication leak that you're going to bring back somebody, that's always going to cause an uproar, isn't it? Regardless of what you think or whether you think he should come back or not. So it's been handled absolutely terribly. It really, really has. There's another journalist as well coming out in the last 10 minutes saying a well-placed source at Manchester United says that they are now set to make a U-turn and his return is highly unlikely. Samuel Luckhurst says Manchester United have declined to comment on the Mason Greenwood situation. It is understood the club are reluctant to address the matter on a match day and ahead of the Women's World Cup final between England and Spain. So from the club itself, there's no official line, but we have had 3 or 4 journalists come out in the last half an hour in the UK saying that Manchester United will not be bringing back Mason Greenwood. Obviously, we do need to wait for the official statement. The same journalist also says that Manchester United may look to offer Mason Greenwood out on loan, but so far there have been no firm offers from any club to take him. There will also be legal implications about cancelling his contract. So from what this journalist is saying, at the moment, the two options are either they cancel his contract altogether, which means releasing him from his contract, which would of course mean Manchester United would have to pay him all of the wages he is owed. And the other option is that they keep him, but they send him out on loan. At the moment, as this story says, there doesn't seem to be any offers on the table, but Manchester United are actively looking for clubs that would be willing to accept him on loan. There is a story coming out from a journalist in Italy saying that apparently Turkey seems like the most likely option, but I think that's a load of rubbish. I think that he's just had a child. He lives in Manchester. I can't see him moving to Turkey. So I think the most likely option is if he can't get a move in England, then they would probably have to terminate his contract, because I don't really see, they can't force him to move to Turkey when he's just had a child. Like, that's simply not going to happen. Now, I will give my opinion on this one, and you know what I'm going to say? I think it's an absolute disgrace how this whole situation has been handled. I really, really do. The fact that we're still having to talk about this in the public domain, it should have been resolved a long time ago. It never should have got to this point where The Athletic are having to leak stories saying he's going to be brought back, and then everybody goes crazy and they change their mind. You know, the fact that there's story today saying that apparently Richard Arnold had already recorded this video explaining why he's brought him back. He'd already told all the executives at Manchester United that he was coming back and to prepare for it. And then it gets leaked, and then there's all this outrage and they change their mind. Think about what happened with Arnautovic. Exactly the same situation, isn't it? Last season, we were going for Arnautovic. People on Twitter got angry about it, and they decided that they weren't going to go for Arnautovic, and they got Anthony instead. It's a classic Glazer Manchester United thing, and it just shows you how badly our club is being run. And it's just another reason why we need to get the Glazers out of the club. A competent club would not let this situation happen. They really wouldn't. And it's just really frustrating, isn't it, that when we should be focusing on football, there's so much shadow hanging over us. There's so many clouds, so many things. There's the takeover, there's this, there's, you know, the inactivity in the transfer market on selling players. There's so many things that that just cause frustration. There really, really is. But as always, I want you to let me know what your thoughts are on this topic. I know it's a sensitive one, so please do be respectful, but please do let me know how you think Manchester United have handled it. Are you happy with how the situation has panned out? Obviously, we do now have to wait and see for the official announcement from Manchester United. But as Samuel Luckhurst says, but they're not expecting to give that today or tomorrow, because obviously we've got a game today and then we've got the England Women's World Cup final tomorrow in Australia. So it's going to be sometime next week, I think. But it does look like at the moment, from the story we're hearing today, that there is no way back for Mason Greenwood at Manchester United. That's what the headline is. Manchester United's hierarchy now believe there is no way back for Mason Greenwood. That's being reported by 2 or 3 different journalists in the UK this afternoon. As always, do let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section. Thank you for watching. This has been Daily Red Devil. Please do smash a like and subscribe on your way out, and I'll catch you on the next one.